Now, before you begin your testimony, we swear members at this hearing, so please rise so I can give the oath. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? They've all answered positively. Ms. Helms, start out.
Thank you, Senator Grassley and Senator Durbin, for the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is April Helm. I'm here because my mother, Sherry Tyson, lost $350,000 to a romance scam before her passing in 2020 while undergoing treatment for late-stage ovarian cancer. It's been a long, frustrating, and heartbreaking journey that has brought me to this moment. And before I share the details, I want to express just how surreal it is that I'm sitting here with you today. In 2018, while undergoing cancer treatment, she became even more isolated, more susceptible. One day, while I was headed to a football game in my hometown, I received a text from her. It said, "I gave all my money away. I have nothing. Come get me." I was in shock. She promised, but she had lost her apartment, her car, everything. I told her she could move in with me, but on one condition, and that was she couldn't talk to the scammer in my house. She refused. She couldn't let go of the fantasy they'd sold her. Instead, she moved in with her sister in Mobile, Alabama. And when that didn't work out, she asked me to come get her so she could start fresh in Dallas with my brother. We made a plan to move her that day, but scammers had another plan. One of their tactics is to keep victims awake all night, exhausted and disoriented. That morning, as my aunt and my mother were preparing to leave, my aunt, who's sitting behind me today, found her collapsed on the floor. She never made it to Dallas. I believe with all of my heart that if it weren't for the scam, I would have seen my mother that day. In the early days, there was almost no information online about these scams. As someone with a background in radio news, I launched a podcast to investigate, to talk with other victims, law enforcement, and experts. I've interviewed people of all ages and professions who were deceived, smart people, a former CIA agent. She lost $1 million. A son of a marriage counselor who lost money. A woman who was married to a retired colonel. This crime isn't just happening to the elderly. It's happening to people my age and younger. A woman my age in Oklahoma recently made national news because her scam turned her into a money mule, like many do, and she's now facing up to 62 years in prison. I've interviewed the scammers themselves, too. One told me they like to target Americans because we have money and because of what we did with slavery. Many victims go to local authorities only to be told there's no crime because they gave their money away. Victims feel abandoned, penniless, ashamed, and taxed heavily for withdrawing their retirement savings. Some even take their own lives under the weight of the despair. Today, I serve on the board of Advocating Against Romance Scammers, a national nonprofit focused on prevention, education, and advocacy. My mother deserved better. Every victim does. We urgently need Congress to act to ensure no more families are shattered by this cruel and complex crime. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to my mother's story.
Ms. Helm, you testified about some of the ways scammers have ruined lives. What should people know about the dangers of AI-generated scams?
Yes, when my mother went through her scam, this was right before AI exploded. So they used very archaic tools of video of a man in a dark room, and they would voice over the actor in the video. And they were actually pretty convincing, enough to convince my mom to give $350,000 away. But with artificial intelligence, this is going to explode. They are so convincing, and they've got money to back people up to make these scams even more convincing. They'll send you a $100,000 check, and it'll cash.
Mm-hmm. Makes you think we should be doing some rules of the road on AI, which we've had a bipartisan effort going on, and One of my biggest fears of this is just the scams that are going to affect individual people. Senator Blackburn and Senator Coons and Tillis and I have worked on deepfakes, but we have to make sure this incorporates some of these scams going forward. What we do, Ms. Gunther, do you want to add anything?
I did have one last question for Ms. Helm. It sounds as though your mother, not only was she scammed by this romance scam, but even when she knew that this was a scam, she still continued to want to participate. So there's a whole psychological aspect to this kind of scam that we need to also address.
That's the biggest riddle of this whole thing. I could not get my mother to stop. And all the families I speak to, about 90% of them email me or call me and say, how can I get my family member to stop? And that's the answer that keeps me up at night. I don't have an answer. I know we do need more therapists who are aware of the problem. And there is one therapist in particular, Kathy Wilson, out of Littleton, Colorado, who is putting a program together to teach other therapists about the emotional impact of romance scamming.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.